I could see Magneto is just sort of like doing some like emo rock.
Could also see him like shirtless, just ripping on like a 7-string Ibanez too, like as lead guitar.
Thank you guys so much for sitting down and talking to me. Very big fan of you guys. So excited to get into the music side of things a little bit with you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I love that behind you, the red pill, blue pill. You got it going on back there. Yeah.
Oh, I know. This latest episode has some Matrix vibes. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it did, right?
It does, yeah.
Yeah, good
It
call.
did. I love it so much. Now, you guys, you're composers. You're completely encompassed in music at all times. What do you guys listen to for fun?
It's a great question.
That's a great question. It's kind of all over the place. Currently, I'm obsessed with this band, Drab Majesty. It's like a kind of what do they call themselves? They call themselves like I don't know, drama emo or something, but it's I've been really into
Okay,
them lately. It's cool. Yeah, they're a cool vibe. Yeah.
that's very cool. Taylor, what about you?
I mean, I am so all over the place. Like, funny. I mean, I like go to the gym listening to Deftones, and then I come home and like, it's Chopin and like, yeah, flamingos. It's like it's all over the place. Yeah.
Wow,
There's no
I love
logic
the
in it.
Deftones call out. That's
Yeah.
great. That's great. I did want to ask. My podcast is kind of it's like an amalgamation of bringing people from the heavy alternative music scene and talking pop culture. I want to
Yeah.
ask, like, what's the heaviest band you guys listen to?
Ooh.
Oh, I mean, it's so I grew up in LA and my radio station was KNAC. And so like I was all pretty much straight metal when I got off of piano lessons. I was uh but it was metal like at that time, which was like Megadeth had just formed. I was super
Okay,
into Slayer like when Dead Skin Mask came out. I know this is older stuff, but like
it's okay.
I was really into that. And now I'm still like I don't like to admit it, but I'm still super into like I'm deep into like screamo like but no one likes I don't have any friends that I can go to shows with or anything. So
How
that's
dare
sort of
you?
my
How dare you?
I know. I
Man,
think it's
what
the
kind of
emotion.
bands?
Um God, who's like well Taylor you Atreyu are they're not around. Are they still
Yes,
around?
they are
They
still
are.
around. Yep.
Yeah, I used to be in the band with a guitar player from Atreyu. Yeah.
Wow, what?
Yeah, a long time ago. Yeah. Travis. Yeah, Miguel. Uh,
Incredible.
Super sweet guy. Um, yeah, yeah, it's wild. Yeah. I mean, I got into that. I mean, music, the heavy stuff. Well, I don't know how heavy it is, but it's definitely Iron Maiden, I guess, would be early days.
For sure.
Yeah, and then I kind of like most kids my age, I was into Metallica, Megadeth. And then later got into Deftones. But I had always loved like the sort of the powerful voices with like super soft music. Then it's just like blaringly loud. You know what I mean? Like just like
Yeah.
over the top. Like so that's kind of love that stuff.
I love it, guys. How you guys have talked about the process of scoring horror in particular, how it's kind of building everything up and then peeling back the layers to find what works within that genre. Now, you guys have said that you're like the perfect pairing for X-Men 97 and sought after the job personally. And in this type of projects, that's kind of larger than life and bombastic and almost the opposite of horror in a lot of ways. Is this the type of project you guys have always wanted to do from the start? You just kind of got into other things at first?
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. I mean, we went off and did dramas and action, movies and stuff. And I think just which is great, but horror sort of took off in a commercial level for us. I think before the other stuff did. So we kind of became known for the darker shows, the darker movies, things like that. And we love them too. Obviously, I love The Shining and those kind of movies, and so it's
Right.
super fun. But yeah, I mean, we both grew up on this particular the original X-Men, so we both loved it, and we heard that it was happening. We were like, hey, let's try to get our name on the list. Let's try to get in there, and that's sort of what was the impetus to get a shot at it.
Speaking of The Shining, this is not your first time continuing something absolutely beloved. You did Doctor Sleep after The Shining, and now you did a rendition of arguably the most iconic intro song of all time. And I'm not going to ask you how you feel about that because I'm sure everyone is asking you that. But I've heard you guys talk about your research you put into developing a score and everything. And I want to hear your process of tackling such a rendition of an iconic intro like this.
Yeah, I mean, typically, like we're we're sort of like big fans of like diving into a property and exploring every part of that so that we know everything we could possibly know that exists on the internet. Just so we have like a grounding place, and then we'll often put like playlists together for each other and listen to, you know, stuff that's genre specific to what we're working on. And now like YouTube is a gem because you can like pull up
Right.
interviews from, you know, we were able to pull up all kinds of interviews that Ron Wasserman had done, and just kind of dive into the sound. And then it just comes down to like a process of trying different things, because talking about it and the theory of what it is completely different once you start actually recording, you know, music. And that process was a big evolution. You know, it's what we remember the show to be versus what the show was versus what, you know, we're trying to accomplish are all different things. And to bring those together is just sort of a process of failing a lot, you know, to get there. Like, oh, let's start tackling these sounds and this idea, even if it's to failure, to see, like, you know, with the main title, we produced 7 or 8 versions of it to see what would work. Like, here's the all orchestral version, here's the all synth version, here's some hybrid versions, here's a dark version, here's a happy version, you know. And in that process, it becomes very clear right away, especially because we really leaned into, even there was one, like, I know I was working on like an orchestral only version that just wasn't working, but I saw it through all the way to the end. And I know Taylor was working on like a synth only version that neither of us felt was really working, but he also saw it through. Like, let's like lean into this as if this is the version they're going to go with. And then when you do that and you listen to everything, you're able to sort of like contextualize all of it and say like, oh, I see what you did here, but that's terrible. Like, let's not do that, you know? That kind of helped inform the journey. And I think Taylor has said like a big part of this for us is like removing our ego from the equation, removing what we think. We don't want to put our like stain on it. Like, we just want to like honor it and bolster it up and try to like do something that we would appreciate. And hopefully that sincerity like comes through. And that's just like a hope that you put out there. And hopefully it's resonating. You know, we feel like it's been successful, which is really nice, but you never really know. You know, you kind of just put yourself out there and hope for the best.
I think you guys nailed it.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
In my honest opinion. And talking about synth and stuff like that, this latest episode with the Motendo aspect of it in particular, you got to play with a lot of like 90s vintage, like super video game type sounds. Was there any like synthwave influence in that at all? Or where did you pull that kind of stuff from? If it was any place other than like old school video games.
Well, I know there's obviously definitely the video games. Both of us grew up with like Gauntlet and like all these, you know, classic games. But I think for us, I mean, when I first moved to LA, I was doing DJing on the side. And so I would be doing like some obscure records and different stuff, and synthwave sometimes would sort of creep in. So I was very familiar with it, and I know Andy is too. And then, you know, because if you're a fan of a genre, you tend to know all the nerdy elements, all the synthesizers used from the era,
Right.
all the drum machines used, you know, all that kind of stuff that I won't bore you with. But we essentially were able to start pulling out that stuff that no one ever asked for. Usually they're like, "What's that sound? Can we get rid of it?" You know what I mean?
Totally.
So
Yeah.
Oh my God.
we're able to pull it out for that. And then I think, you know, using that in combination with more modern techniques to make it quick, fast, and slice and get in there and cut stuff up made it more I think more efficient.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, you guys were asked about a year ago what your kind of favorite superhero project you guys would love to score, but I want to hear your holy grail project of all time. I know, Andy, you've talked about how like Star Wars kind of got you into composing. Is Star Wars the thing that's your holy grail, or what is it?
I think for me, sci-fi is a place that I would love to, like, it's a bit like, I
Okay.
just love that world. Like, the first film that my parents didn't know I had, that I watched over and over again, was Aliens, the second one. And there's just something about, like, out, you get off of planet Earth, and like it's such a
Mm,
deep, like, I'm obsessed with like dark matter, black holes, like all of it. And I think it's just such an interesting place to be. That being said, I feel incredibly lucky that we've been able to work with some of the filmmakers we've been able to work with. Like, it's if I didn't ever work on sci-fi and just got to work with, the filmmakers we've been working with, I would die a very happy person. Taylor,
Yeah.
what about
what about
you?
you, Taylor?
I mean, we're very fortunate to work with people who we've been working with, and they're all such champions of music and sort of cinema in general. And I think in terms of the Holy Grail, it's tough because Andy and I both love. I think just when you run across a story that's just like so captivating, it kind of doesn't matter what genre it is, because you can take a classic IP and really mess it up, and it's just not as great as it was. You know what I mean? And then vice versa, you can make something that's exceptional, just incredible. We've all witnessed it. We've all been like excited about something, and then we go to see it. We're like, oh, what happened? You know what I mean? So I think for us, it's being a part of something with a team of people that are very, very excited about the cinema, about the project, the IP that we are, and Marvel's been really championing. I mean, we had everybody that we were on X-Men. They were all like talking about the old X-Men, talking about movies, talking about scores and comic books, and it was like I didn't expect how deep all the team would go. They all are such
Right.
huge fans of X-Men. So it was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And so I think if we could have more of that in terms of like being on projects where people are so excited, it's like, oh wow, what a thrill. How lucky are we to work on those things? And because I love too many things. I would love to work on an X-Men, live action. I'd love to work on Daredevil. I'd love to work on Alien, Predator. Like, the list goes on and on. That
Yeah.
of all Interstellar. I mean, that's not even it's not even like an IP. It's just one movie, and it's so good. Like, you just
Yeah.
want more. So I think that kind of stuff is what we aim for. But we've been very fortunate enough to just work on the sequel to The Shining. I mean, good Lord, that's huge
Yeah.
for us.
Total big one. I want to end on a fun one. You guys have said you two composing together is like being in a band. Obviously, collaborating with whoever you're working with is also also a part of the band. I want you guys to build a band, each of you, with any X-Men character. Someone is the vocalist, guitarist, bassist, and drummer, and then the genre. Go.
Holy cow, that's so good.
Oh man. Oh my God.
Oh, I want Storm to be my bass player. Just like holding down
I
the weather and everything, just like rocking
the
Storm.
Beast would be the drummer.
Yeah, Beast would have to be the drummer, and he's just like
Yeah.
just ripping. Yeah. Um,
But would
hey,
Scott be the sorry.
Scott's the keyboardist. He's the keyboardist. He's on the synth, but he's doing it like Trent would do it. Like, it's good. It's like good, it's like he's gonna break it. It's good. It's good.
He's gonna break it.
Um, who is our I think Jubilee is our I think Jubilee is the lead singer.
I don't
Like
know.
that.
I can see Magneto is just sort of like doing some like emo rock where he's just like brooding, sad, and depressed, but he's also has moments of like belting it. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I could also see him like shirtless, just ripping on like a 7-string Ibanez too, like as lead guitar, just like
There's
crushing,
always
you
that.
know? What about Wolverine? He's crowd control?
Security.
Yeah.
Wolverine. He's proud.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many characters. We're just hitting because I mean, we could do it. This is a great conversation. This is a great question, Sean. We should
Thank you.
meet up somewhere and spend an afternoon talking about this while we consume coffee, tequila, tea, whatever. This is a great
Name the time and place. I will be there. That sounds amazing.
A great question. Wait, do we leave anyone? Do you need anyone else in the band? We need a rhythm guitarist. Who's our
Yeah, I'm always down for 2 guitar players, honestly.
yeah, we gotta have 2.
It's
Yeah,
always better with 2.
Yeah.
Gambit. What about Gambit?
Oh yeah, Gambit would be a
Oh.
perfect guitar player.
Oh
With the crop
yeah.
and all, dude.
Oh yeah. Maybe Gambit and Jubilee are the 2 lead singers together, I don't know.
He could play guitar and sing backup.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's perfect.
Boom.
Yeah. Yeah. Be good for the breakdown before the encore, right? Just the 2 of them on stage, spotlights, yeah.
Beautiful.
Love
I
it.
love it.
Love it.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. This is incredible.
Thank you, Sean.